Sweet Baby Inc. employees are some of the most toxic activists within the industry by far, and now we're hearing this nice little quote from one of them, admitting their goal is burning the games industry to the ground. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I just recently talked about a story where an ex-Sweet Baby Inc. employee admitted they were having a bit of a hard time finding a job within the industry because companies knew that SBI is so hated that they didn't really want to hire these activists. So I can't say I feel all that bad for these people who are seemingly having hard times finding jobs when they admit things like they don't care about the industry and they'd love to see it burn to the ground. It says a SBI employee named Cameron Wild, who claims to be non-binary, admitted that his goal is burning the games industry to the ground. In a presentation titled How to Get Away with Murder Subverting Genre Expectations at the Game Developers of Color Expo discovered by YouTuber Kirsch, Wild introduces himself saying he is a narrative designer and sensitivity reader with this little company called Sweet Baby Inc. Now, this was done before SBI gained a lot of infamy within the industry, before, the Alan Wakes came out, before the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's released. But at the same time, we do know that they have worked on several of these titles. They worked on, Tales of Kanzara Zhao, Kill the Justice League, Alan Wake 2, The Crew Motorfest, Kingdom 80s, and God of War Ragnarok, then declared these stories we tell each other are way more than entertainment. They are about how we create debate and preserve our collective values and beliefs, and we can and should make better, more expansive, more representational content. Now, I always say this, I think diversity and inclusion is good. I want everybody to have a game that they feel represented by. Sure. If that is what is so important to you, then cool. I hope you get the game you want. My problem is forced diversity. As a woman who has played video games my entire life, I have never, not once said to myself, I don't want to play this game because I have to play as a guy. That's ridiculous. I don't have to see a character that looks exactly like me in order to enjoy my time in the game. I think it's personally a little bit narcissistic to only say, I'm only going to play this type of game because it's got a woman in it, because it's got a female who I think represents me. But at the same time, I get it, right? I want all different types of characters to be in all different types of games, but forced diversity is the problem. When developers are sacrificing good storytelling in order to push DEI initiatives, that will always be a major issue for me. I know it's a major issue for a lot of people, and it is rich that someone who works for Sweet Baby Inc. says they want to create healthy debate. You guys hide behind blocks and locked down accounts on the regular. You guys do not want debate. You want your opposition, right? The people you deem as ists and phobes, people who don't agree with you, you want them to be pushed out of the industry. You want them to be removed from social media. And then you want to sit in your echo chamber because nobody with a dissenting opinion is in your space. So yeah, that creates healthy debate because there's nobody to debate. You guys don't want to have debates. Then there is a slide titled Cool, So Why Am I Here? One of the bulletin points states burning the games industry to the ground. Yeah. That's basically what these narrative consultation companies want to do. The only reason Sweet Baby Inks and Black Girl Gamers exist is because of Gamergate 1, because of individuals like Anita Sarkeesian, Brianna Wu, and Zoe Quinn. Those individuals They had labeled Gamergate 1 a harassment campaign when it was really just about ethics in journalism. But because there were those within the industry and at these companies listening to them, they decided to adopt all of these DEI initiatives, and they decided, you know what, we're going to work with these women. And then the Anita Sarkeesians started game consulting. Like, Anita Sarkeesian has worked on plenty of games. I know the biggest one that is still at this point a rumor is The Last of Us 2, because, Neil Druckmann said, oh, well, that's not true, but we saw evidence that proved otherwise, like her at Naughty Dog offices. Regardless, people like her do not care about the industry. They care about making money. And it's the same with the people at companies like Sweet Baby Inc. Kim Belair does not care about the industry. She simply cares about making money. If she could make $1 million today and tomorrow the industry burned to the ground, she'd be happy with that. She'd just move on to the next grift. That is not the case for the people like me who sit every single day talking about video games. I love video games. I want the video game industry to be good. I want it to be healthy. I don't want the industry burned to the ground. Even though I criticize these companies and the projects they're putting out, I don't want to see it all crumble around me. But these people do. Really goes to show who the toxic individuals here are. But Wild explains a lot of us who are really fighting for more inclusive games and storytelling don't have a choice when it comes to discomfort. A lot of us who are just existing don't have a choice, which makes this really hard often. But recently I started realizing that discomfort, or the place where whiteness doesn't have to live, is where some of the best stories are told. The classic racism. These people think that you can't be racist against white people, but you most certainly can be. You can be racist against any type of person, but they feel it's okay to be racist because they think that's the popular opinion. They think that's the opinion that's gonna land them jobs. That's why I'm not sitting here saying I feel bad for the people within the video game industry that are activists, that are losing their jobs, or that are having a tough time finding jobs after working for a company like Sweet Baby Inc. You got paid to work for them for years, so why should I care that you simply just don't have that job anymore? I don't want to see people be homeless and struggle to live their lives. These people deserve jobs just far away from the gaming industry, just in an entirely different industry, somewhere else where I don't have to listen to them yap all the time about how they want to destroy the gaming industry. That's why these people do not receive some overwhelming amount of support from the average gamer, because you hear things like this where they're admitting they want to burn the games industry to the ground, and the average person is going to go, there's no way I'm going to support you. Now, at the end of the day, is it shocking to hear another Sweet Baby Inc. employee coming out and saying something like this, that they hate the games industry, that they want to see it burn to the ground? Absolutely not. We've heard this a dozen times. We're going to hear it a dozen more, but it's important to call it out every single time we see it. Every single time a statement like this is made, because I don't want to support somebody like this, and I'm sure a lot of you do not want to either. That's why SBI's facing boycotts from millions of gamers at this point, because it's just such a disgusting thing to say, to constantly go on and on about how they don't care about games while we are trying to protect the industry we love and we care about. So I'll be keeping my eye on this situation to see if this person decides to make a follow-up statement. If anyone else at SBI acknowledges it, I highly doubt it, because they have been silent since the boycotts really started, because they're already facing so much backlash they don't want to face anymore. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. If you enjoyed this, and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.